right, welcome everybody to another BD Boxing Podcast morning edition for everybody. We had to do one for this fight. It is Nonito Donaire versus Naoya Inoue, the rematch. Much anticipated for a lot of people. And then, just like that, boom, it is over. So fellas, we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about, well, we have to talk about the restructuring of the pound for pound list. Where does Naoya Inoue go from here? Where does he stand in that pound for pound list? And what about Nonito Donaire as well? Fellas, we're going to be opening up the phone lines in about 30 to 45 minutes, as always, in this quite impromptu, well, that's quite impromptu, PDA podcast. But I mean, listen, who will we? It is something to behold, this Naoya Inoue, I got to tell you. Before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way, fellas. You know the drill. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, spread that BDA gospel, join the BDA membership program. That way you get some bang for your buck with special emojis, badges, the whole shebang. And if you want to, you can donate with the super chat. But like I said, the most important thing is that you continue to support us by listening, hitting that like button, subscribing, and spreading the BDA gospel. All right, fellas. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm talking about the Blame Tricks, Zach134, K-Not. That's not. We were having a blast over a Wide Rapids channel. Shout out to Wide Rapids. Jack Nuff, C. Jaramillo, and many more people to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Like I said, we've got, what can you say about the performance we just saw here from Inoue? I mean, it's that's what pound for pound is. Anybody that tells you he's not pound for pound, look, I think I had my road to Damascus moment with Inoue when he first beat Donaire, because I said, okay, I want to see this guy show us more than just power. I want to see how he reacts to somebody that has power of his own and somebody that can take his own power as well. And that's what Inoue did in the first fight against Donaire. He took Donaire's power. He actually went through some trouble there with the eye, got hurt at some moments. In some moments, specifically in one moment, I forget which one it was. And he also almost stopped Donaire in the rematch. I mean, the first one. If you remember, the referee got in Inoue's face, which delayed the count a little bit, or actually gave Donaire a little bit more time to recover. But in any event, that's all moot now because he just ran through this guy like a hot knife through butter, for lack of a better image. I mean, this guy, I don't know if he's Japanese or if he's actually Mongolian, because the way he's been running through his opponents, this guy's he's the golden horde. Shout out to everybody out there. I see more people jumping in here. Nez Mendoza, MMA champ, Virtuoso, A6. My goodness gracious. All right, so listen, let's talk about it. Let me invite a couple of people over here, and then we'll keep on cooking, as they say. And like I said, we're going to be opening up the phone lines as well, because I know a lot of you guys probably have a lot to say about the pound for pound list, because this is, fellas, this is pound for pound. Okay, this is not, let me clinch and pot shot my way to a decision, and maybe I'll look good the next time, maybe. No, it's like, oh, I'm going to let this guy off the hook because I'm a little afraid of the punching power. No, sorry, Bob. This is cream of the crop, pound for pound. There's levels in international boxing. You know, there's the top 10 guys, then there's pound for pound, and then there's the top 3 pound for pound guys, the guys that terrorize everybody, and that's what we had with Naoya Inoue. He lives up to that monster moniker. And I see we've got Jimmy and Bucho here. Guys, thank you for joining us in this morning podcast. Hope you guys have your coffee ready. Let me just say this before I let you guys go. If I get, when I'm talking about how there's levels in the pound for pound world. There's guys that are technically proficient. Technically, they'll make you look bad. They'll have you flailing at the wind. But you can go 12 rounds with them. At worst, you'll be hurting a little bit the next day, your head, your hands, whatever. A couple of ouchies. And there's guys that you're going to go in there and you might not make it out of there with all your bones intact. That's what Naoya Inoue is. And that's what he just showed against Nonito Donaire. Now I'm starting to understand why Steve Kim had the number 1 pound for pound. Guys, what do you think about that? What do you think about this performance?
I can't stay for long, but let me just quickly say, this is what a pound for pound boxer is and what he should do. All right, and yes, Donaire was a champ. He made a comeback. He was 38 years old, though. So let's not forget about that. But still, so this is why Inoue had to stop this guy, and he did it in 2 rounds. He does what he's supposed to do. And when it comes to Devin Haney, and what are you talking about Haney? Yeah, because he fought last weekend, right? And he's
3
also a
days
pound for
ago.
pounder now. Oh, he was yeah, you're right, this week, yeah. And he's also pound for pounder, supposedly. He's a undisputed champion or whatever. But his performance against Camboso was boring. Now, yeah, he did what he had to do. He had the W. But pound for pounders do more than just win. They impress you. And a guy like Haney, who was much bigger than Cambosos, he just jabbed the guy. And, he won with that jab and the reflexes he has. But in my opinion, he should have done a little bit more against Cambosos. And, that's why I'm comparing him to Inoue, so people can see the difference. Inoue just goes there and shows you that he is a pound-for-pound top 3 boxer, even top 2. He's up there, man. I fucking loved this fight. This was exciting. This is what boxing should be all about, man.
And Bucho, let's not forget, because, okay, some people are saying, yeah, Nonito Donaire is 39. 39-year-old, that's true. But he was beating up and stopping younger guys in his past 2 fights. Ubali and Gabayo.
He made a comeback.
Yeah, he says, I mean, listen, yeah, the 39-year-old thing. That's why I actually thought maybe Donaire, Inoue was going to stop him this time, because age doesn't really give you durability in boxing. That being said, look at Donaire's comeback since losing to Frampton in 2018. He beat the younger Ryan Burnett and Stephen Young, who lives up to the name Young. Goes 12 rounds against Naoya Inoue, gives him the toughest fight, his toughest fight ever, and then comes back and defeats 2 undefeated young guys, and not only defeats them, stops them. I mean, this is a guy that's almost 40 stopping these guys, and then Inoue does this to him. So you got to put things into perspective that way as well.
Yeah, perspective, exactly. If Inoue wasn't stopping other boxers, and then he stops a 39-year-old, then you would have a good argument. Well, he only knocked him out because he was 39. Now he's been knocking everybody out. Everybody.
Exactly. Now, I want to get Jimmy on this. Jimmy, you've seen... Thank you for being on, by the way, as always, man. You've seen your share of pound-for-pound guys throughout the years. Well, what do you make of Inoue's performance?
Well, every time we talk about pound-for-pound lists, I always have him up there for my own personal one. He's been that good. I haven't been really singing his praises as much lately. It's because he's kind of taken, a hiatus in the sport, as well as far as ESPN putting him on. I mean, even Steve wrote an article. He was very disappointed with his 2021. I think a lot had to do with COVID. Japan wasn't letting anybody in and whatnot. But listen, this kid is nasty. He's been nasty from day one. He's never going to get the respect by American boxing scene. Hold on one second, brother.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's true, though.
I was going to say, sorry, brother. I was going to say, he doesn't get the respect he deserves because, he's Asian, and that's just how it is. And Americans we're kind of fucking snobbish, and we just always think that our fighters are automatically the best. And like Bucho said, to his point, he took out 2 guys from the PBC one with a devastating body shot. He had and Donaire, remember, was the top 5 pound-for-pound fighter without a doubt, but he had lost his love for the sport. Remember, he was going through the motions, but he recaptured it, and he said mentally he was never in a better place. And I don't think it was because of his age he got taken out. He just got taken out by an unbelievable fighter who hits hard. And Bucho's point is 100% on the mark. Did you see what he did to this guy? And he's smaller than him. For instance, Haney fought a guy smaller than him and made that fight. I mean, that fight was not exciting because he didn't want to step in there and do what he has to do. Last time Inoue fought this guy, get his jaw broken. And did it look like he was worried about getting his jaw broken again?
Wait, I thought you mean in the first fight against Donaire?
First fight, yes. First fight, Donaire broke his jaw.
It wasn't the orbital, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, the oracle bone. Yes, broke his oracle bone.
But in any event, your point still stands. I mean, it was a fight. It was a close fight. That's why a lot of people were looking forward to it. And then he just takes him out. I mean, look, this is why, Jimmy. This is why I always keep telling people: forget skills, pay the bills. That's of course you need skills to be a world-class fighter. But if you want to be, now we're talking about levels here. If you want to be a world-class fighter, or if you want to make it to the top 10 in any division, which is hard enough, obviously you're going to have some skills. Now, if you want to be top 3 pound for pound, if you want to have longevity in this sport and be a monster consistently, You need to have other attributes. Now we're talking in the realm of the physical. We're talking hand speed, power, reflexes, maybe some form of strength, whatever. And that's what Inoue possesses, the always lethal combination of speed and power. Because Jimmy, don't forget, man, let's not forget, in the first fight, Inoue showed he had skills. Most of the time, he was the one chasing guys. When he doesn't respect the guy's power, he just hunts him down, takes him out. In the first fight against Donaire, he was like a little Manny Pacquiao in there, in and out, in and out. He was moving backwards too sometimes, letting Donaire come in. Sometimes Donaire was actually walking him down. So he showed skills. In this one, he skills as well, but that power was one of the defining factors. Did you see that beautiful right hand he caught him with in the first round when he dropped him? I mean, he just dropped him. No loading up on it, really.
No, it's quick. It's straight. You know what I mean? I mean, his punches are just, they're accurate, and he doesn't load up. Well, you can always tell when somebody loads up a fighter like Berlanga, for instance, if he misses, how out of position he is after he throws, how many steps it takes him, to get his feet back in right position, because they're putting everything behind it. Victor Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz, one of my favorite young fighters. That's something I hope is working on. I've seen him do that a few times. He loads up so much he kind of pulls himself out of position, which is fine. You can get away with it when you're on the up, but when you start facing the guys who make you pay for shit like that, you know what I mean? They look for the big power punches. That was like a David Lemieux problem. He misses, he's there to get clobbered, his whole career.
Hey, shout out to Norman Louis, who just re-signed for the BDA membership program. Shout out to Norman. Glad to still have you on board, man. And hope you enjoy the content. I really do that, man. We really appreciate your support, man. Really appreciate it. Can't thank you enough. And shout out to everybody out there. Don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like. Jimmy, that's the other thing that I was thinking about. Coincidentally, when you're watching a fight, a lot of thoughts are going through your head. And I was thinking about how Inoue, how deadly he's looked in his last couple of performances, but of course they were against subpar opposition. And I thought as I was watching the first round, I said, it's interesting how Donaire, the class of fighter he is, that he's really worked on his defense the last couple of years. The fact that he was able to go 12 rounds against Inoue and he stayed composed doing it, that takes a lot of wherewithal. And then boom, just a microsecond of a mistake where he drops that left. And he goes down, and I said, "Holy smokes! You can't even relax against this guy. How hard is it to fight a guy like that, Jimmy?"
It's mentally exhausting because you're thinking just that. I make one mistake, he's going to clip me. That's what that's what the greats do. Well, that's what all in boxing is, really, right? It's just taking advantage of someone's mistakes. Because if two guys fight perfect, you're not even going to land a fucking punch on each other. You're only getting hit because you made a mistake one way or another. If someone catches you with a clean shot, it's because you did something wrong. Mm-hmm. So the best guys, do the least mistakes and pounce on anybody else's. But yeah, no, he's an elite fighter. He has been. He just because of the geographical reasons, being in Japan and just United States snobbery that Japan, how good could he be? Christ, you can blindfold him with dental floss, you get all that type of shit.
What is an Andrew Dice Clay joke there? But what was I going to say? Hold on a second. I was going to say, ultimately we have to talk about this, Jimmy, because we've had a lot going on. It's already been 6 months, by the way. How time flies by. In these last 6 months, we've had a lot of restructuring to the pound-for-pound list. Jermell Charlo unifying. A lot of people feel that he deserves a spot in the top 10 pound-for-pound. Some even feel that Shakur Stevenson should be in there as well. Now that Naoya Inoue just took care of his next biggest threat, where do you think he falls in the pound-for-pound list?
Well, I've had him number 2. After he won the Super Series and he took out Donaire because he's just been so dominant. I mean, it's like in the Lomachenko, like Steve Kim has said too, that you can always tell a great champion because they almost never lose rounds. You know what I mean? The true greats you'll see them. They'll almost never lose a round. Whereas that's why I get so frustrated here. Like, when they talk about Davis just banging out Lomachenko like it's just a matter of fact, but this is the guy who's losing 3 rounds to Rolly Romero.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, imagine if Rolly was his at 122. Imagine what Inoue would do to somebody like that. And one of his double up, he did 2 things in a row right before Davis hit him. It took him 6 rounds to stop him. He was boxing like that from round 1.
Yeah.
I don't know if he carried him, but the greats don't fight guys like that. Never mind pay-per-view, that's a whole different animal. But
that's an excellent point, Jimmy, because look, this I've said it before. Davis, I'm on board. Some people feel that his power is overrated. I'm not on that boat. I do think his power is genuine, and I think his power is comparable to that of Inoue, pound for pound. The difference here is in the delivery of that power, whereas Davis likes to step back and give rounds away to try to set up one shot. Inoue stands right in front of you and delivers combinations. And if he does take a step back, he's not running around the ring with his back touching the ropes that much. He minimizes his movement. And that, to me, is the difference between a world-class guy that's, above the top 10 and all that guys in his division, and then a guy that's really cream of the crop, top 3 pound for pound. And that's what we're seeing with Inoue. Who would you say he reminds you of? In terms of, I know that's something that always happens with contemporary boxers. We got to compare them to somebody from the past, but who would you say he's a mix of?
You know what? I never actually gave that any thought. I usually do. I usually try to at the smaller weights. I don't know, man. He's kind of unique for that kind of punch and power for that size. I mean, he takes guys out with one shot. You know what I mean? Usually at that size, it's accumulation of punches. He's just got. I mean, they call him a monster for a reason. He's just some guys are born with unbelievable, hand-eye coordination and fast twitch fibers and a warrior spirit. They make the great fighters, and he is that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would love to see the kid start fighting 3 times a year, start pushing him in the United States. I mean, it's to be the same situation where nobody outside of Top Rank will want anything to do with that kid. He's a career wrecker. Good, props for Donaire for fighting him, but most guys aren't going to mess with him. I mean,
exactly.
He walked through everybody. I mean, the World Super Series too. Remember?
Oh yeah. He wiped out the division, and on top of that, I think that was his 3rd division. And by the way, shout out to Blue Collar Sports TV, aka Delbo. Check out his boxing channel. One of the best when it comes to having the knowledge of. And I'm surprised he's actually asking this question because I would have asked him the question. Is Casimiro still the WBO champ or was he stripped? I don't know. I know he's had his last 2 fights, I think, postponed in the past 6 months. I don't know if he's been stripped or not. But that brings us to the next question here. And by the way, I can't stress this enough again. This is a pound for pound performance. This isn't giving 6 rounds away against a prospect like Rolly Romero and then ending the fight with one shot. This isn't clinching your way to a decision. This is standing in front of a guy, throwing combos, taking out a 39-year-old veteran who was beating up younger guys who still had speed and power of his own. And this guy just blasted him out in 2 rounds. And this, if this was only his first performance for Inoue world class, I'd be like, well, let's hold our horses. But this is about the 10th top guy he's taken out in similar fashion. I can't stress that enough. And I think a lot of people out there that don't give him his credit, I don't think they're all that knowledgeable in boxing. I do have to pull rank on that one. A shout out to Kenshiro, by the way, for his contribution with the super chat. He says Inoue is the highest non-white pound for pound fighter right now. I mean, forget about color or whatever. This guy is just, he deserves the monster moniker. That's for sure. Jimmy, so shout out to Kenshiro for his contribution on that. But yeah, man, he's got to be, I mean, it's either him or Usyk pound for pound right now. Don't give me the Terence Crawford thing, because Terence Crawford took Sean Porter out of there, but man, he was stronger. Inoue gave him a second shot. Yeah.
Not at that level. Yeah, exactly. Not at the way he took the people out. Yeah, no, he's a great fighter. And I mean, how old is he? He's not even that old, right?
He's 28, I think. Hold on, let me check.
Yeah, Christ, he's in his physical
29.
prime then.
Yeah,
still right in the physical prime area, 27 to 32. I always count that as a guy's boxing where he still keeps up his speed and it's his reflexes. That's usually the first to go, is the reflexes. The power usually will hang around. The legs, reflexes, speed, that goes. So he's right there, man. I'll tell you, he's a tough out. It's going to have to be something special. Is going to beat him. He'll beat himself. It'll be his own passion leaving him. He'll get to the point maybe, and it's usually what happens.
This is the type of guy that I'm talking about, that I think he shouldn't watch boxing. He says, so Park, Inoue knockout, a monster. Inoue knockout equals monster. PBC fighter knockout equals opponent sucks. Does this guy not see the difference between Donaire and Romero? See, that's why I can't even deal with it. That's why they never call in, because it's just nonstop buffoonery from their side. But speaking of opponents, though, I'm looking at the list here. Actually, hold on. That's the pound for pound list. We're going to get to that. Oh, we're going to get to that. At this point, Jimmy, what's left for Donaire? For Inoue, because, look, he already beat Emmanuel Rodriguez. 2 rounds, another performance in which he ran through a top 10 guy in under 3 rounds. Casimero, he's got power, so that could trouble Inoue. But, he's just awful technically. He's going to get caught with something eventually. Maloney, he already took him out. Rashid Warren, he's got speed, but I think he's just going to... In other words, what I'm trying to get at here, is there anybody on this list that you would favor over Inoue? Or have to actually stop and think, who am I going to pick, Inoue or this guy?
Yeah, there's nobody at that... did you ask, is there anybody at that weight I would have beaten him?
Or just thinking, I have to stop and think, who wins this one?
Well, he's at 122. Isn't that Stephen Fulton's weight class?
Well, that's what I was going to get at, yeah. I think at this point, look, anybody can be beaten. So anybody in the top 10 could potentially beat Inoue. But it's a long shot. So I think at this point, wouldn't it be fair to say that he needs to move up to 122 if he wants a challenge?
Well, yeah, okay. So that fight was at 118, right? This last one?
Yes, this one, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, see, he's starting to push though the limit of his size, because he's not that big. Remember, he started I think at 108.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it gets to the point where it's been for Lomachenko, where it's been to Pacquiao. They have to fight in weight classes they shouldn't even be in, just to get people to fight them and make the fights competitive. You know what I mean? Then, if you ever noticed, those guys aren't struggling to stay in a weight that they can be the physically dominant person. Lomachenko's always smaller than his competitor, his opponent, and he's still dominant. Whereas these American guys, so when that guy just said, the PBC guy, yeah, you mean the PBC guy who's always going to probably be bigger than his opponents to 135?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So it's I'm just being honest. If he was smaller than everybody at 135 and banging him out, he'd be getting the praises too. It's just like you can't. If he goes up to 122, because of his power, if he was to carry it, see, that's what Stephen Fulton doesn't have. He has great athleticism, great accuracy. He's probably the best all-around PBC fighter they have right now. But what he lacks is punching power. What Inoue has in droves. If he catches you, he's going to hurt you. And I believe he could probably still do that at 22.
Yeah, man. By the way, shout out to Kenshiro for his contribution with the super chat. And he says, hold on a second, where is it? He says, get the other belts undisputed and then jump up to 122. Well, shout out to Kenshiro for his contribution. And listen, that's a plan. That's a plan to unify. But I like I've said before, the belts are relatively meaningless depending on who holds them. And that's why I have to get back at the whole thing of, well, who would really get excited over Inoue versus Rashid Warren or Gary Antonio Russell? Gary Antonio's got skills. He's undefeated, but if Inoue beats him, he goes, well, okay, he beat a guy that never really shined against anybody of note. He still has to, like Paul Butler, for example, that's the perfect style for Inoue to look good against. He just cut through him like a hot knife through butter. So getting all the titles here, I don't really see the point. Now, if you go up to 122, you've got 2 guys that could potentially be too much for him. Jimmy already mentioned Stephen Fulton, whom we saw on Saturday, and you got MJ. Now, would I rather see? What the heck was that, Jimmy? Is that a dog in the background?
No, that's not me.
Okay,
it's quiet here now. I don't.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say Stephen Fulton. I would rather see him take on Figueroa because he's got unfinished business with him, or MJ. In fact, I'd rather see the MJ fight first. But because of the promotional barriers, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. So for Inoue, I think realistically he's gonna have to wait to see what Fulton does or MJ does, and maybe take on taking Casimiro. That would be a big fight in Asia, and I think just the fact that Casimiro is a puncher and who's aggressive, they could market that fight. But perhaps the easiest fight to make a 122 would be against MJ, because I think he's with the zone. I don't know who his promoter is, but he looks like the type of guy. Since he's non-PBC, it would probably be easier to make. But Stephen Fulton, let me tell you one thing about Stephen Fulton. This guy can fight. He does something that's really hard to do. He can fight all the way outside or all the way inside. And when I say inside, I don't mean head to head. I mean chest to chest. This guy can punch when there's very little play. When you would think that it would be impossible because there's very little space, he manages to do it. He's just a consummate pro. The fact that he outclassed Daniel Roman in his last fight was impressive. It's just the only reason he doesn't get more praise is because most people don't know who Roman is. You know, they're all busy watching Tank Davis and Devin Haney. But in any event, that's what I'm saying here with Inoue. 122 might be the best place to get some competition. And if he can't, well, stay at 118 and force that Casimiro fight.
Yeah, Casimiro, if they haven't stripped him, right? And then there's that would be the bridge too far, I think, right now for the Bam, because that's where he's campaigning at 118. That would be too much of an ask for a kid with his least fighters he has. But just even the way he walks in the ring, like this is a kid who he just complete confidence. He knows he has what he has. It's the way he handles himself. You know, I mean, well, anybody who dies, they hear Silva.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, who's a badass, right? But
now, Jimmy, I don't want to. I always am hesitant to say, oh, this guy should retire, that guy should retire. Obviously, Donaire still has something left based on his last performances. Let's not base everything, his state of mind or his physical state right now on just what happened against Inoue. Again, Inoue, he's just an anomaly when it comes to boxing. But at this point, if you were close to Donaire, would you tell him, look, listen, I think it's time to hang him up? Or
yes, absolutely. Absolutely, because he just got knocked out. He's 40 years old. He has so much respect in his home country. I don't know if he still lives. Does he live there? Does he live in the States? I think he resides here now. Mm-hmm. He still can. He's very. He's an articulate speaker. He's actually a jovial person. I think he'd do good at color. You know what I mean? He could find his way. You know, doing something different. It's just like. He's got 2 young children. It gets to the point, man, especially as you get older, you're more acceptable to brain damage and start getting like, you know, the slurs and you know what I mean? And so it's quality of life. That's what you weigh it against. Do I want that money? I mean, does he need the money? A lot of guys just get addicted to every aspect of the game. It's the butterflies going into the ring, the crowd screaming it. You know what I mean? It becomes addictive to these guys. And that's, well, in all sports, not just boxing. Mm-hmm. They miss the fame, you know, the fame by people yelling their name or just the excitement of it all. But at that point, yeah. I mean, unless he goes up, I mean, if Inoue does go up to 122, but again, that would be putting a lot of mass on that already stretched out frame. I mean, he probably could. And if he did, and then Donaire is still at 118, I mean, who else is going to knock him out? He could probably still go grab the title again. But at what point? For what, though? Because they don't pay these guys huge money down there.
That's right.
To begin with.
And let's not forget, they weren't even hyping his last fight up, Donaire, remember? No promotion. I think they barely sold 1,000 tickets. That's the PBC promotion for you. If you don't have the complexion for the protection, they just don't go for that. And that's what, you know, they did Donaire dirty, as they like to say in the streets. But like you said, look, listen, Donaire still has a lot left. If they put him in there against Casimiro, I would actually pick Donaire, believe it or not, because I think he would catch Casimiro coming in with something big. But that being said, it's like you said, for what? Now, is it just to add cherries on top of the ice cream sundae? Is it for the money? Is it for all of the above? I think he needs to think about it. Now, if he doesn't want to retire, hey, listen,
right.
If he doesn't want to retire, well, we're in the era now, Jimmy, where guys in their late 30s, early 40s are still competing with the young guns. So maybe that's the road he'll take. What do you think?
Yeah, and he's already punched his ticket. You know what I mean? It's not like he needs oh man, if I just get that one more championship, it's going to get me in the Hall of Fame. I would assume he's a Hall of Fame boxer, wouldn't you? Donaire, from what he's achieved,
Yeah, absolutely.
or at least close to it, right? So I mean, right? So why? Again, it's if and God forbid it. I would hate the worst thing to hear is when somebody hangs around because they need the money. They're still fighting late into the years for money. That's when it never ends, right? It's usually when they hang around years after they should have left.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
the
he's
thing.
just so accurate, man. I was just rewatching a couple of pieces here and there. Just he was timing his right hand. I don't know if his right hand got slower from the first fight, but he was timing Donaire's right hand something fierce. Like every time he threw that fucking punch, because he dropped him in the first round too, right? Right at the end, the first round.
Yeah, he dropped him in the first round
So-
with a single right hand, and then just everything else. He was gonna. The ref hadn't stopped the fight. Donaire was gonna get seriously hurt in there. That's for fucking sure. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Jimmy, let's take a look at the pound for pound list here. Jermell Charlo, according to Ring Magazine, this is Ring TV's pound for pound list. They have Jermell Charlo number 10 by virtue of the fact that he just unified. And like Inoue, he took out the guy that gave him trouble in the first fight. So he's on the top 10 here. Josh Taylor got dropped to 9 because of his awful performance against Jack Catterall. I thought Catterall should have won that one. Dimitri Bivol, number 8, by virtue of his win over Canelo Alvarez. Lomachenko still in there because of his last 2 performances against top 10 lightweights. And again, just like Inoue, he goes in there to make the fight. He's not there pot-shotting and clinching and saying, well, I'll look good the next time. Canelo Alvarez, the former pound for pound number 1 fighter, falls to number 6. Estrada, number 5. I don't know if he should be number 5. Errol Spence, number 4, coming off his dominant win over Ugas. Inoue, number 3, prior to this fight. Terence Crawford, number 2. I suppose because, he stopped Sean Porter when nobody else had beforehand. And Usyk, who won heavyweight titles against Anthony Joshua. I'm curious, guys, in the chat room, if you want, just give us your top 5 pound for pound list. And that's actually what we're going to do now. We're going to open up the phone lines. And Jimmy, let's take a couple of phone calls from people and see what they think. Yeah, so guys, if you want, call in. I suggest you call in and tell us your thoughts briefly about Naoya Inoue's performance and who you want to see him fight, and then pound for pound, where does he fall? We're very interested in hearing those 3 things from you. All right, because Jimmy, what did you say? Just refresh my memory. Where did you say you have him compared to other pound for pound guys?
Well, I had him at number 2 before he went into his layoff. Like after the Donaire fight, I had him in 2. So yeah, no, he's still in the top 3 for me. Just to chirp. Just the fucking, my God, he almost put him out of the ring. Jesus Christ.
Now, that's the other thing
His accuracy is so in his body shots. I'll tell you that body shot in the second round. That's what set up that headshot. It was about 30 seconds. A body shot, 30 seconds before he dropped him. You could see him drop his right elbow to his body. Donaire, and just kind of squinch. So right at that point, he probably wasn't even breathing. He probably couldn't even breathe. He was just. Which when you're doing that, when you got a body punch that's affected you, not bad enough to take you off your feet, but bad enough where you really can't breathe. So you'll see them start circling out, and you can tell because they're not breathing. But that's when you're not breathing, you're holding your breath in, you're tight. You can't throw punches. It's why you go for the head. The body will fall. He's deadly accurate, fast, hits with power with both hands, doesn't lose rounds. I mean, he dominates motherfuckers. You know what I mean? He is an elite fighter. He's the ESPN pound for pound list is a cool kid list. That's all it is. It's the popular list. It has nothing to do about skill and achievements, because 90% of the fucking people, especially the ones on Twitter, don't know anything about well, I don't want to go that far, but anyways, let's take the calls then, brother.
Well, yeah, listen, the phone lines are open, so call in. That's why, listen, here on this program, we give you guys every chance to call in and give us your opinion. Leaving emails, people writing with their emails. We got the phone lines. If you insist and are so inclined, we could even give you a Discord spot or a StreamYard spot. So there's no excuse for not giving us your opinion and talking to us and trying to, giving us your thoughts on this and breaking it down. That's why we always give people a chance to break it down. And if you don't, then that's fine. But, we appreciate you calling in as always. So phone lines are open. Call in. We're very interested to hear what you have to say about Naoya Inoue. In regards to pound for pound greats, for example, because there's, like I said, it's easy to become a pound for pound, enter the pound for pound, or relatively easy. It's a whole other thing to stay there for a long time, and that's what we've seen from Naoya Inoue. Oh, actually, hold on a second. We've got a phone call here. Here we go. 337. Hold on a second. 337. You're on the air. 337. What's on your mind? Oh shit. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. 337. You're on the air. Sorry about that.
What's up? It's Dead Game Boxing. Can you hear me?
Oh, Dead Game. It's been a while. What's up, man?
Man, y'all killing me, bro. Y'all are killing me. Y'all, every time, bro.
That's a good thing, right?
Y'all find something. I don't know, bro. It's like y'all find a non-black fighter just to promote, just to say there's a non-black fighter at the top. Y'all always do this, bro. I've been calling here for about a year now, bro.
Well, you tell me, man. You tell me. Well, but hold on, Jimmy. Hold on. You tell us what you disagree about Inoue being pound for pound top two.
And I was just going to say, you've been listening for a year. I've been toting Inoue since I come on the show 3 years ago as one of my favorite fighters.
Now, I've been
so this isn't just what happened last night.
4 years.
Yeah. I was going to say
you've been for 5 years.
I was going to say, yeah, you've been listening for longer than a year. Because I remember the first time Dead Game called in. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but the first time he called in, he said that Otto Wallin was going to stop Tyson Fury. Not Otto Wallin, the other guy, the German guy he fought before, Schwartz or whatever.
Yeah, that was some bullshit.
Ah, come on!
Crazy,
just like you know what? You know what else is bullshit?
Nah, I was just bullshit.
You know what else is
I
bullshit?
just called him to come and bullshit with y'all.
And are you bullshitting right now, or are you being honest?
Nah, it just seems like man, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but you guys like very biased against black fighters, bro.
You gotta stop faking the.
I mean, like y'all. The first thing you do is compare Inoue to Tank and Devin and talk about punching power and moving around. Man, you talking about one of the guys, the best. You talking about two of the best fighters.
Dead Game.
And you downgrading them because of Inoue fought.
Yeah, Dead Game. Right. The reason why I brought up those two guys is because they fought in the last 2 weeks. And I also compared him. I also compared him to Alexander Usyk. So I mean, come on, Dead Game. Yeah, I remember the first time you called in too. You said, I think you guys are racist. Then when I pressed you, you said, well, it's some of the things you say sound racist. And I said, come on, it's that's your interpretation here. I think you're projecting a little bit.
And that's what I'm saying right now, man. I don't think you guys realize the way you guys sound. But I'm not saying none of you guys are racist. Never. I'm not gonna say that, but. Man, it sounds bad, bro. Like consistently.
Okay, well, break it down. But Dead Game. I get you. Dead Game. I sorry to interrupt, but I get all that.
I'm not calling you racist, but Jimmy.
News. Hold on. Dead Game. I heard what you said the first time. You said it sounds like that, but break down what we said. Refute what we said. We compared his performances to that of Haney and Tank Davis. Tell us what's wrong with what we said. Tell us what you disagree with.
Haney just went undisputed.
Against who?
Tank is the biggest.
Against whom?
Is the biggest draw. Tank is the biggest draw from 140 down.
What does that have to do with skills? We didn't talk about box office. We're comparing skills.
Tank doesn't have skills.
Dead Game.
You tell me. Skills?
You tell me. Is he more skilled than?
Can I get a word in?
No, but Jimmy, because I have to press him on this. Jimmy, well, I mean, you're gonna bring up something else, Jimmy, and we're gonna go all over the place. Dead Game.
No. I was gonna follow your line of questioning.
But I want to hear this, man. Dead Game. You tell us. You tell me why you think Tank Davis is as skilled and accomplished as Naoya Inoue, if not more so.
I mean, everything he's accomplished, bro. The dude went from 130 to he's dominated 130. He's dominated 135.
Who did he dominate against?
140.
Okay, you're just saying things. Who did he dominate against at 130?
Shit, everybody, bro. There's
Who?
nobody
Well,
can
tell
beat
me
him at
names.
130.
Tell me names.
Come
Dead
on.
game.
Who
You're
can beat
dead
Tank?
game.
Who can beat Tank? Who can beat
Dead
Tank at
game.
No,
130?
that's not. Don't dead game. Answer his question. Answer his question. Who did he beat to be this dominant force?
I don't remember.
Because I can name
man,
every fighter.
Tank fights so many weight class. Listen,
He
Tank
doesn't
fights so
remember.
many weight classes,
Oh my
bro.
God! So
Oh,
that's
man.
I
so
can't
when
even
it comes
tell you.
down to
I can't.
hey, now I'm
I
going to say
can't
my
tell you.
piece now. What's coming on here, dude? You don't like the fact that this Inoue kid is an unbelievable fighter, and because you can't counter anything we're saying with facts, you're coming in here with emotions. You're bringing up the KKK and shit. I've been on Inoue from day one. I've been on Crawford from day one. I'm on the elites who are great. And if that offends people because it doesn't fall into their ideological point of views, my heart goes out to you because that would be a sad place to live for me.
All right. Well, yeah, that Jimmy, that's
But
well
did
said.
I
And
say Inoue? Did I say Inoue wasn't? Did I say Inoue wasn't good?
no, here's what you
see,
said.
you
Let me
getting
remind
emotional,
you.
brother.
Let me
You
remind
getting
you what you said.
emotional. Did I
Let
say
me-
Inoue wasn't good?
Let me remind you what you said. Let me remind you what you said. You said you guys are disparaging these black fighters by praising Inoue, and I said, how are we doing that? And you said, well, you went at Davis, and then I asked you, well, how is Davis equal or better than Inoue? And you said he fought everybody at 130. I said, who? And your answer was, I don't remember. That's exactly what you said a couple of seconds ago. So you're
I
not
don't remember
explaining
who
your
Inoue fought
position.
either, bro.
You're not
I
explaining.
don't remember who he knew he fought either.
So then, how
At
can
what?
you? So then,
At 115 or
dead
whatever?
game, dead game. You don't know who's beating whom. You don't know who Inoue beat. So how can you make a determination of who's better than whom?
I've seen him fight, bro. I just don't remember all these little guys' name at these little booger weights, bro.
But you don't even remember who Davis fought either. But you don't even.
I've watched Inoue fight a bunch of times, bro.
But you don't even
I've
remember
watched
who
Tank fight a
You
bunch
don't
of
even
times.
remember who Davis
do I
beat. You
remember-
don't even remember who Davis beat either. So how can you determine who's better?
Because I've watched their fights. I don't remember these little guys' names, bro. I don't remember these little guys' names, but I've watched
And
most
you're
of their
trying to
fights.
say, all right, and you're saying just watching their fights. You've never watched anything else but their fights. You're saying you're watching the craft that they're both performing in the ring. Balance, accuracy, punching power, real estate, ring IQ, and you're going to say Tank Davis is is better than Inoue. Is that seriously what you're saying, brother?
Yes, I'm telling you
All
that.
right,
Yes,
there
Tank
you go.
Davis is
All
better
right.
than Inoue.
Not even he just lost 3 rounds to Rolly Romero, for the love of God,
Listen,
dude.
man. Listen, bro. Is this what Tank fought? Tank, you think Tank gonna be stupid enough to jump in there and just get punched in the face by Rolly? No,
Well,
He was
man. He
losing
boxed
rounds
the
to
man and
him.
he knocked the man out.
Greats don't fight. First
So
off, greats
Tank-
wouldn't
Tank-
fight
so-
Rolly
so what
Romero.
can
You gonna
Tank
let me
do?
finish?
What could he
Oh,
have
here we
done?
go.
I mean, you telling me you wasn't impressed
What has
with
he
what Tank
done?
did because of his competition? I mean, bro, you tripping, bro. You finding a reason
All right,
to
well,
hate
all right,
the
you know
man
what?
for nothing.
All right, no, listen, brother. Listen, because, all right, you know what? Boston Bruins are fucking, or the Boston Celtics are going to play the fucking junior retard of my local high school. Oh, man, they wiped the floor with them dudes. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's levels. And when the best is beating the best in a dominant fashion, there's a reason. Tank Davis has fought guys, and the reason they're only paying these guys $300,000, $500,000, because they're nobodies. They're Vegas odds no-hopers. Now, what that means is they're 16 to 1, 15 to 1, 10 to 1 underdogs. They're handpicked to make them look good. And he knocks them out and sells tickets. Great. It's a 12-round World Star video. I'm all set.
All right.
I
Well, you know
enjoy
what, man?
boxing.
I mean, listen. I mean, a dead game. You don't even know who's fighting whom, and yet you're getting mad at us because we're praising Inoue's performance. Now, I think at this point you're projecting a little bit here. I think you've got something against Inoue's race, and that's what you're projecting onto us here. And I'm starting to
I have
understand what.
nothing wrong with Inoue. I have Inoue in my top 10. I'm not
Okay.
saying Inoue is. I never said Inoue wasn't a great fighter.
Okay, well,
But what I'm saying is, you guys always try and find some non-black fighter to throw over the black fighters.
Well,
I
I'm
mean, I'm
curious.
pretty sure your top 10 probably. What is your top 10? What's your top 5?
Listen. I don't have a top 10 list that I can give you here, but you're making all these
Give me a
statements.
top 5. What's your top 5?
Hold on.
Give me your top 5.
Hold on.
Jimmy.
Hold on.
Let
Hey,
Jimmy
Dead Game.
answer.
Okay, I think Dead Game's been hitting the bottle a little bit too early in the day. Dead Game. Here's the thing. We got to go back to what you said about, well, I asked you the question, is Davis better or equally as good as Inoue? And you're saying your contention is that he looked. Your contention is that he looked just as good. But then that's when you gotta take a look at the opposition, which is something that you don't do because you haven't seen Inoue's fights and you don't even remember who he fought. Look at the competition Inoue's fought. He's fought the top 10 guys, upper top 10 guys, cleaned out a whole division at 118 and did so impressively. Tank Davis loses rounds to a guy coming up in weight in Leo Santa Cruz and then bails himself out with the power. Does the same thing against Romero. Goes 12 hard rounds against an unknown in Isaac Cruz. Now, look, you can talk all you want about skills. Yeah, okay, he beat them. That's what counts. But then now we're talking about upper class, cream of the crop, pound for pound. And if you want to be top 3 pound for pound, you got to destroy guys and completely dominate them the way Inoue did. And that's what he does against these top 3 guys. Tank Davis does not do that, even against the limited competition he's fighting. Do you understand that?
Man, I see Tank destroying people. I don't know what you watching, but I'm seeing Tank destroy people.
All right.
What it looks like,
Dead game, please. Dead game.
What it
You
looks
gotta
like
be more.
to me,
Dead
what it
game.
looks like
Come
to
on.
me.
Dead
No,
game.
hold on. What it looks
Please,
like to
dude.
me.
He just said to you.
Your
He just
favorite
went down.
fighter. Hold on, bro. Hold on a second. What it looks like is your favorite fighter. You find excuses to boost him up.
That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
That's exactly what you
Hold on.
Dead game.
He fought a 40-year-old man, and you make it good.
A 40-year-old man who just destroyed 2 young up and coming.
You made it look bad.
Hey, Dead game. He didn't look like a 40-year-old in his last 2 fights. Now I can tell you,
young talent.
and I can tell you this: Rolly Romero lost against Jackson Marinas, and he's going there against Tank Davis, and he's taking rounds from him. 4 or 5 rounds. And you're telling me, that's a masterclass. That game, I don't know what you've been drinking. I don't know what you've been drinking, right? But it ain't good for you, man.
Did you see the lie? Did you see the lie you just told? Right? Did he lose to Jackson?
He absolutely lost that fight. The same way Barrio lost to the fucking Russian kid.
But okay,
I got you, bro.
So you're saying dead game?
You just what I'm saying is, bro, you guys are y'all don't understand the way.
No, Jimmy,
bro.
let me handle him. Jimmy, let me handle it because I know how to handle dead game, please.
Okay.
So dead game. So you're telling me based on because you say you watch the fights, right? You watch the fights. You're telling me what transpired in the ring. You're telling me, hold on, let me finish that game. Please let me finish. Please let me finish my question. Please let me finish my question. Please let me finish my question. Dead game. Please let me finish my question. Otherwise, we're going to have to move on to another call here because you're being very abrasive. You're telling me that what transpired between Marinas and Tank Davis, Marinas and Romero, you're telling me Romero won that fight?
I'm telling you, he won the fight. Because that's what's on his record.
Listen to my question. Based on what transpired in the ring, you're telling me Romero won that fight. He deserved to win that fight. That's what you're telling me?
He won that fight.
No, listen to my question. Listen to my question. Based on what transpired in the ring, based on the action, I'm going to try one last time, that game. Based on the action that transpired, the skills shown, you're telling me Romero beat Marinas?
Yes.
All right. Well, then we got to move on then, because
guess what? The judges agree with me also. The judges agree with me, but you don't.
So the judges can't be wrong then.
You're being disingenuous.
Yeah. So the judges can't be wrong.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but you could be wrong too.
Well, you're telling me that you used the argument that the majority of people know that Tank Davis is this and that we're the minority and not giving him credit. But the majority of people that saw the Romero-Marinas fight know that Marinas won that fight.
Nobody gave it to Romero. Nobody. But the judges.
Look, before I get off here, I just want to say I'm not calling nobody a racist. Listen, I'm not calling, especially you, Jimmy, I'm not calling nobody a racist. All I wanted to do was, because I come up here a lot for a long time, you guys sound, the way you guys sound, bro, it sounds fucked up. And what I said about the KKK thing, Jimmy, what I said about the KKK thing, I say is the chat is full of KKK members. I didn't say nobody was a KKK.
I thought you said. All right. I thought you guys said. I apologize. I thought you said you guys sound like KKK. That's what I thought you said.
Victim of the holiday.
No, I wouldn't call you that. But what I'm saying is because I like your show, y'all guys need to realize the way y'all sound, bro. For real.
But you know what? Honestly, though, right? No, I got Usyk, and probably right now, tied for second. I would be between Crawford and Inoue.
And by the way, I gotta tell you, Dead Game, you sound a lot of the things you say sound racist to me. It sounds like dog whistling.
How, bro? Because,
you know what?
Because
It
I
sounds
did
like
big up. I did big
now
up.
you gotta let me
Inoue.
talk. You gotta let me talk. I didn't interrupt. You gotta let me talk. You're saying that some of the things we're saying sound racist. I'm gonna throw the same thing back at you. Some of the things you say, dog whistling. You know what it seems like to me, Dead Game? It seems like what happened here is Naoya Inoue is Asian, and him being Asian triggered you. And now I'm afraid that you might go on the streets and do something to Asian people. That's what I'm afraid of, because what you're saying sounds like dog whistling to me.
Don't put that on me, bro.
Hey,
don't do that, bro.
On you,
I have nothing against Inoue, nothing against Japanese, nothing. No way, bro. I'm just telling you what I see, man.
Be black, baby, be black.
I don't know, Dead Game. You sound like you're dog whistling here. Dog whistling, you're coded messages.
No, man, I'm not. And look, I'm not calling nobody a racist. I'm just telling you guys, if I didn't like your show, I wouldn't have called in, bro. Right. I'm just telling you the way it sounds, and it's been sounding for a while.
All right. Well, listen, I can't change your mind. I tried like heck, but some people, you can't get through to them. So, Dead Game, thank you for your call. We'll catch you on the next one, right, man?
Peace.
Take it easy, man. Yeah, I think... listen, I think Dead Game, the first time he called in, he said the same thing. He said, some of what you guys say, and then I pressed him, and I said, well, give us some proof, do something. Well, it sounds racist. I said, all right, whatever. But listen, we got to move on to other phone calls here, because we already,
This first phone call gets my blood boiling.
I know, man.
You know what I mean? Like, because we can... I mean, seriously, though, it just like make an argument. That's all. Just say exactly why you're saying that. I mean, you look again, the competition. Inoue is a special talent. The thing is, I have absolutely nothing, no cultural commonality whatsoever with that dude Inoue. I mean, he's as foreign a person to me in his dress, his language, their food. You know what I mean? It's so I have no kinship, and it's not like, oh man, I've been waiting for Japanese dude to dominate. I love great fighters, and you know that the same way you do.
You know what? I can say it till I'm blue in the face. Some people aren't going to get it, so I don't even try. And by the way, I've noticed what happens when you try to appease black people. They turn on you. Just look at Cher. She tried to say, well, if I would have been there when George Floyd was getting, supposedly stomped on, I would have done something. And what happened? Black people on Twitter started saying, we don't need your white help, blah, blah, blah. Who you think you are? Why do you think we need your help? I was like, oh boy. So you can't win with them. So I don't even try. By the way, Kenshiro, I'm going to put the StreamYard link for you there. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe. And by the way, Jimmy, I do apologize for cutting you off there with Dead Game, but it's just when you're talking to Dead Game, it has to be one-on-one, because as you can see, he goes all over the place. So I gotta try to, it's simple
I know.
if I just, yeah.
I was just trying to follow what you were saying. That's all. I wasn't going to go down no rabbit holes because I would have just said, so yeah, no, I know you'll pick one thing and you're good at holding people to it. Because you know what it is? I'll get sucked in because they'll make a conflation. You're right. They'll say, yeah, well, what about this? And then I'll jump on that. But where you'll just say, answer the one thing, because I'm not going to go forward if you don't answer that, because it's not worth it.
Well,
so
listen,
you're doing it the right way.
Yeah, I hope I didn't piss you off. Now, I got to take a long...
God, brother, man.
I think I got a long-distance call here, so we'll keep it short so you can get charged up the wazoo. 4401, you're on the air, 4401.
How you doing, guys? Yeah, calling from the UK.
Oh, geez, Louise. Hey, listen. Well, okay, make your point fast, because I think you're going to be charged a lot for this call.
Okay, no worries, don't worry. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, first time I've been listening to your show, and it's really good. I love the passion. The last caller, maybe, you don't agree with him, obviously, but he's really believing what he was saying. I would say myself, I think boxing's probably at the best it's been for a long time now, and it's tough to say who's pound for pound number one. You could argue 5 or 6 different guys, I'm sure you agree. Monster looked great today, though. And I can't see him ever losing unless he goes up too high in weight. But I would defend the previous caller, because I think Tank Davis is an excellent fighter. You said he lost a few rounds to Rolly Romero. I think he was just waiting waiting to set a trap with that guy, and then he just took him out. I think he could have done it earlier if he'd wanted, but
I agree. He could have done it
Devin Haney's
earlier.
a superb fighter.
You could,
Jimmy, let him speak because he's at long distance. I think,
yeah.
Go ahead, caller. Yeah.
Sorry, there's a bit of a delay because of the long distance, I guess.
Yeah, caller, finish your call because I don't want to keep you on too long because it's long distance and you're probably getting charged up the ass, man. So, yeah, please finish your point.
Well, that's cool, yeah. I would say, though, to put my two cents in, I would say Usyk is pound for pound number one, but again, it's all down to opinion. But what that guy has done in literally a handful of fights, not many more than, in fact, less fights than Inoue. And he unified the cruiserweight belts, didn't he? And then, of course, he beat Joshua to get the heavyweight belt. I'd have him at number one, and then probably Inoue at two, maybe. It's hard to say, but if you're looking at I totally agree with what you were saying. There's no need for any racism in boxing. You never look at the guy's colour of the skin. You look at his left hook, his right hand, his chin. Don't you? You know, that's what it is. There's too much of this now, and that's the problem, I think. That's just my thought.
I agree with you, caller. Some people, that's all they see, race, and they don't see skills, they don't see talent. They just want to root for the guy that looks like them, and it's sad, man. It's sad that we have people like that. Well, listen, one, again, we got to move on to other phone calls, and I don't want to keep you on too long because you're long distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a StreamYard link on the chat so that you can call back and maybe spend a little more time. So that you don't get charged, all right? Because right now you're getting charged up the ass.
Thank you.
Right.
But I've just got to say as well, Devin Haney is absolutely superb. Devin Haney is one of the best fighters. He's not a knockout puncher, but he's absolutely... I can't... There's two guys now I can't see losing, and that's the Monster and it's the Dream.
There you go, man.
You guys agree, but...
All right, I agree, man. Devin Haney's a heck of a young talent, man.
And thanks for having me on, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in, man. Check out the StreamYard link. All right, fantastic, yeah. Didn't want him to be charged up there. I mean, long distance from the UK.
No, honestly, dude, at first I thought you were joking. I thought that was just a joke. I didn't know they actually got charged long distance.
Yeah. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Again, please give us your thoughts on the fight. Tell us what you think Inoue's future looks like. And if you want, give us your pound for pound list, how it looks now. But try to be brief, all right, because we got a lot of phone calls. Let's go to another phone call. Let's go to 310. Please turn your computer off or your speakers off because there's a lot of background noise there. 310, you're on the air. What's up?
What's up? How I'm coming in? This Boom Boom guy.
Oh, Boom Boom. What's up, man?
Boom Boom.
What's up, Jimmy? Yeah, man. All I gotta say is Inoue is not a household name yet. He's a great fighter. Everyone I have in front of him are undisputed champions.
Oh.
Proven. He's not an undisputed champion yet. I got Usyk, I have Crawford, and I have Devin Haney, and I have Canelo. He falls under 5. No one. He's not quite known yet, but he's a great fighter. And once he becomes undisputed, I can see arguments of replacing some of those guys.
Well, technically, he's on this. Yeah.
At the end of the day, like what King Butcher told me one time, he said, "I knew it. I fucking knew it. You're fucking biased, man." And I admitted it. I was biased toward Kambosos.
Oh.
Why? I was trying to go to the Australia fight. This guy wouldn't book the fight soon enough, so I couldn't get my affairs in order. So I hated the guy for it, and I knew he was a hype job. And Devin Haney went in there, and you say Inoue breaks down guys. I haven't seen you admit that Devin Haney broke down Kambosos. It was almost a shutout.
Breaking down means breaking down. I thought that fight. Yeah, breaking.
I was going to sound real quick. I thought that. I'm sorry, BD, go.
Breaking down means stopping a guy. Boom, boom. I think you already know that. But listen, we got to move on to the focus because you're giving us. You're giving us a long spiel about Devin Haney. We got to move on to our phone calls, but you got to give us who do you want to see Inoue fight next.
One more thing to Jimmy.
Nah, you got to give us who you want Inoue to fight next.
You put a moratorium on title talk once Devin Haney got all the titles. You're biased. Jimmy is the only one that's not biased now. But Jimmy, you're like Max Kellerman. But when Loma fights Haney, I have to see how you respond to that. BDA showed his true colors when he said, "Oh, there's a moratorium on title talk." Now that Devin Haney has all the titles.
He's got all the calls. Sorry, brother, but he's got all the calls behind him, and he sees he can see the panel. If he sees 9 calls, and he's thinking people got to go to work, and he's just trying to move it along.
But Jimmy, why do you, Jimmy,
such a one-way beating? I stopped watching the fight. Yes, brother.
Jimmy, why do you expect Boom Boom Guy to understand what you just told him? He's not gonna understand that. But hey, Boom Boom, before you go, you gotta tell us who you want Inoue to fight next.
I don't understand that division. I don't know the division. He lines him up. He's a good fighter. I can see that.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. A certain demographic just doesn't care for Asians for some reason. Or for anybody else for that matter.
That class is so low. Come on, man. I started at 135 and up.
Boom Boom's gonna go help his step. Boom Boom's gonna go with his stepfather to prepare his arguments for. He's gotta prepare his arguments. He's gotta prepare his Boom Boom guy's gotta prepare his arguments against Logical Man. You gotta, hey Boom Boom guy, you gotta prepare. You gotta prepare for your debate against Logical Man. So don't spread yourself too thin going after me, man.
I'll respond to that. Hold on, I'll respond to that. Logical Man bets with his ass. He made a bet against LT, and he didn't have enough money to pay him back. I don't respect guys like that. I disagreed with him with one of his arguments, and he went to name calling. That's beta male simp energy. I don't respect that. I'll debate a guy like Gonzalo. I'll debate a guy like Jimmy. I'll even debate you, Mr. BDA. But a guy who proves himself not to be a man, I wouldn't debate him.
Wait a minute. Before you go then, are you telling me you're saying you're refusing to debate Logical Man? Is that what you're trying to announce here, live on the air?
He's not a man. He showed himself.
All right.
Why are you going
I'm gonna tell him, and we'll see what he has to say. That's all I can say here.
Oh, I went to his YouTube channel and told him myself.
All right, fantastic.
I went to him directly and told him myself.
All right, fantastic. All right, listen, Boom Guy, thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man? Take it easy. All right. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. And I gotta create a StreamYard link here for Kinshiro and the other non-North American callers. But for the moment, let's go to 347. You're on the air. 347. What's on your mind?
I'm black, blickety, back. What's up, BA? What's going on?
What's up, my champ?
But yeah, let me say this right now. Stop black hate. Now, listen, what you're doing, BA, at the end of the day, right? I'm not going to say the other guy's name. You know who he is, bringing up Haney, Tank, it's Inoue say, right? Why are you bringing up the PBC, right? It shows the agenda. Why are you bringing up the PBC? Why are you bringing up all these other guys?
Well, you're asking me.
Right?
You're asking me.
All of these guys happen to be.
You're asking me, and I'm gonna answer the question. I brought up Davis and Haney because they're the two top. Some people are saying they're top 10, and they fought in the last 2 weeks. So that's what I'm comparing them to. And I also compared them, like I said, I compared it to Usyk as well. And we just went through the top 10 pound-for-pound list too. And I was asking Jimmy, how do you have the top 10 pound-for-pound list? How do you compare Inoue? So it wasn't just Romero Davis. That's how I started off with, because those were the guys that fought in the last 2 weeks. But you already know that, MMA champ. You're just going to troll me here, but go ahead.
But BA, we all know if Tank Davis fights 40.
Are you? Hey, hold on. Are you eating on the air? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, my fault. But anyway, listen. We all know if Tank Davis fought a 40-year-old guy, we all know that you would be coming on live. Oh, Tank Davis, and Jimmy especially say, "Oh, Tank Davis, he fought a 40-year-old grandpa."
Jimmy, he's going after you too, man.
Hey, MMA, remember he did fight a 40-year-old guy with 1 foot, and he had to go all 12 with him.
Oh, there you go. So MMA champ, that's our answer.
He actually knocked him out. He knocked him out, actually.
12 rounds.
So then Inoue in the second round.
And also, right? Also, now with the Inoue fight, it was a great performance. Inoue has great show-stopping power. Now, Donaire wouldn't fight power. He should have used his jab. And it was a good fight, you know. But, you know, Donaire did change up his game plan a little bit. And Inoue didn't even change his, didn't look like he changed anything, really. You know, he just stuck to what he did. But yeah, Inoue left with Donaire's belt and his wife. So, I mean, it is what it is. Now, I would like to see Inoue versus MJ. You know, because I don't see Paul Butler, right? Who, UK bomb? Who even is that? Like,
Exactly.
Meth head on the streets of UK. Like, who is that?
Well, I
Right?
wouldn't call
I
him
don't
a bum,
see
but
him
yeah, I
or
wouldn't call him
the
a bum. Like I said,
or
it's
the
one of those fights that you just don't get excited for. He needs to
okay,
move up.
okay. Yeah, but right. Or Casemiro. Casemiro is an entertaining fighter, but we stops them both. Right now, MJ Akhmadaliev is a great fight.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I do want to say this, right? When you bring up Devin Haney, first of all, Devin Haney is at 135. Inoue is a bantamweight, and also like totally different styles and everything, right? So come on, BJ.
That's right. Different
looking
styles.
very desperate
Not only
now.
different styles,
okay.
it's different skills too. Look at how Naoya Inoue handles. Thank you for bringing that up. It's true. It's different skills, different talent. I mean, Inoue is just on a whole other level compared to all these other guys in box. He's top three.
Okay.
He's
And
top
if
three.
Inoue- if
Top
not
three.
Inoue-
He's top three pound for pound. No
not
dispute
Inoue-
about that.
If Inoue was at 135, he knocks out Lomachenko. That's a fact. But anyway, right?
If a lot of ifs and buts in your arguments. But listen, in MMA champ, we do have to move on. We do have to move on to other calls. So anything else you want to say?
Let me say my pound.
Make it quick. Yeah,
Can I say my pound?
absolutely. Yes.
Pound?
Yes.
Okay. So number one, right, is Usyk. Second is Canelo. Third is Inoue. I had Crawford, but now I had to move up Inoue since the Devson KO. Now, even though 40 at a bantamweight is ancient, kind of not like 40 at the higher weights. But anyway, let's move on. 4 Crawford, 5 Bivol, 6 Jermel, 7 Estrada, 8 Spence, 9 Taylor, and 10 Fulton. You could also see. I could also see 10 being Haney or Shakur Stevenson.
That's a good pound for pound list, man. That is a good pound for pound list. Shout out to MMA champ.
He's calling his bias. It's like the same pound for pound list you'd have. I think he's just busting our stones.
Of course, that's what he does. But by the way, shout out to Leonardo Campos Vasquez for his contribution with the super chat. He says undisputed 118 and then 122 for Inoue. Good show. Well, thank you, Leonardo, for your contribution. And that's how I also wanted to. I forgot to mention that to Boom Boom because he said Inoue he's not undisputed. Yeah, technically he is because he cleared out a division. He just didn't grab the belts because, again, it's not about the belts, it's about the competition. Who most people have ranked top 5, and that's who Inoue beat. He beat all of them. So, and by the way, that's when I asked him, hey, who do you want to see him fight next? Man, I don't even see those guys fight. So how can you say he's not good or if you don't even know who's in there and how good he is because he's beating them? So, I mean, that's just, a lot of these people just expose themselves. See, that's what I'm saying. They project their own...
That tournament was awesome, too.
They project their own racism. They project their own racial biases towards us. We're just, hey, listen, we're just trying to have fun here at Talk Boxing. And people are making it racial. And I think that's almost despicable, to be honest with you. I mean, almost despicable. But then again, it makes for good entertainment. Speaking of good entertainment, don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like. And let's move on to a couple of other phone calls here. Let's go to 407. You're on the air. 407. What's on your mind?
Well, first thing I would want to say is congratulations to Naoya Inoue. He's a great fighter, pull off a great pound-for-pound performance, clearing out his division, as you said. Where do I rank him? I would say number 2, 1 being Usyk, 2 being Inoue, obviously. 3 might be a bit of a surpriser for many, but I would honestly say Roman Gonzalez because of his skill set and the way he's clearing out his division. And having a great resurgence in his career, beating the number 1 guy in Estrada, which that weight class, in my opinion, is probably one of the best right now, where they're actually doing what all of these people want to see in the higher weight classes. 4, I would say probably Terrence Crawford. 5 being Lomachenko. You can switch around with those two because of their great skill sets. And yeah, that's my top 5. And what should Inoue do next? I would probably say maybe move up to 122 and fight Fulton or MJ, because either way, it'll be a great fight.
Absolutely. Hey, that's that great call, man, and good pound for pound list too. Yeah, Gonzalez, like you said, he doesn't get enough love. Being at number 3 might be a little bit too high, like you said. You even acknowledged that, but hey, man, that's your pound for pound list. You can handle it whichever way you want. And good call, by the way. Good call. You gave us your points.
That was an excellent call.
Yes.
Yeah, that was an excellent call.
Call back next time, all right, man?
All right, you guys take care. God bless.
Take it easy, man. God bless. Right back at you. Yeah, he followed the instructions there. Good, man. All right, let's see. We got Kenshiro on the stream here.
Oh, I was going to say BDA too. When I was talking to him, when I was explaining that, I was trying to lay the tracks for the next callers too. I knew I was going to convince him. So when I was saying you have to use the reason why you move things along because you have other callers behind these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're the one who sees it.
Yeah,
because I would be yelling the same thing if I was looking at the screen.
But that's why I said don't expect him to understand that. Shout out to Rafael Garza for his contribution with the super chat. He says, has Mr. BDA addressed Amber Heard's scat adventures yet? Does Mr. BDA think Amber Heard is beautiful? Well, I don't know about Amber Heard's cat adventures. I mean, I heard there was some of that involved on the sheets. She accused Johnny Depp of being a naughty boy with the sheets, but I don't know anything else about that. Now, do I think Amber Heard is beautiful? I'm not gonna sit here and say no, I wouldn't bang her, Jimmy, right? I mean, she might be.
No, I'd smash her. I just wouldn't tell her my real name.
good thinking,
Rich is crazy.
Good thinking. I'm right with you on that one. All right, let's go to that call here. Kenshiro, are you there? Kenshiro. Yeah, there's different Kenshiros here. I don't know what's going on here. Hold on a second. Let me see the.
In the WD, he did the first. Was it the first WW series there? And he dominated that. And that was an excellent one too. Like people forget that what he did in that.
Yeah, that was Donaire in that. I think it was this third. I think it was
Hello.
Yeah, Kenshiro, you're on the air, man. What's up?
Kenshiro, what's up, buddy?
Kenshiro, can you hear me? Oh shit! Hold on a second. Hold on. Maybe I got. No, he's Kenshiro. Turn your radio off.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me, guys?
No, Kenshiro. Turn your. Are you listening? You're listening through your TV. I think I can hear myself in the background there with a delay. You need to be. Yeah, that's the thing. All right, let's go to another phone call. In the meantime, let's go to 443. 443. You're on the air. 443. What's on your mind?
Yellow. Yeah, it's Tyrone. I'll start with my pound for pound list. Can you guys hear me all right?
You're a little muffled, but try to speak up a little bit more. But otherwise, you're good.
What about now?
Fantastic.
Okay, yeah, I'll start with my pound for pound list. Devin Haney, Jamel, then Tank, then Nicholas Walters when he's... No, I'm just kidding. Sick, number one. A lot of people don't want to put... I have to give Canelo credit. I felt Bivol was really good, so I still put Canelo number 2, even though he lost because of everything he's accomplished. Inoue still at 3, and I guess I'll just put in those fillers, Crawford and Spence, 4 and 5. But on Inoue, I think it was a very impressive performance. I mean, he's definitely very talented. I mean, the guy had his first world title at 5 fights. I mean, he beat Taguchi at 4 fights, 3-division world champion. I mean, the WBSS Jimmy just talked about. I mean, Payano, Rodriguez, then Donaire, Maloney. He has really good wins on his resume. And Donaire is coming off of 2 stellar wins. I mean, Ubali and Caballo aren't bumps.
Absolutely.
So it's the sky is the limit for him, and I would definitely like him to move up. And like they say, either fight MJ or Fulton. Fulton just came off of a good win versus Roman. That was pretty wide. In my opinion, I thought Figueroa beat Fulton, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think Figueroa is moving up, apparently, from last I heard. So, Fulton, in a way, would be good. Inoue versus Butler, I think that's just kind of doesn't really need to happen. I mean, if he wants to get that extra belt and make a little bit of money, he can. It's up to him. But yeah, definitely that. But yeah, I was pretty impressed, and I think he's really good. I mean, it shows that even though he has the belt, it's about the competition. This is not, Devin Haney fighting a tailor-made fight in Cambosis. It was a flash in the pan. I'm not really a fan of Mayweather imitators. And Jamel Charlo, who had a totally made situation at 154. And if you had switched him with his brother at that place, he probably would have done it faster and quicker and without less problems. You know, he's the only pound for pound or wannabe pound for pound guy who everybody says can beat everyone but can't beat his brother, who's only a little bit bigger than him. So make that make sense.
Yeah, interesting.
But, yeah, Inoue's great. And
that's an interesting
what are your
point.
thoughts on that?
You made me think on that. That's true, man. Well, listen, that's a good pound for pound list. That's a good plan for Inoue. And you kept it nice and concise, man. So thank you for your call. Call back next time, all right, man?
Yep, take care. Have a great day.
Take it easy, you too, man. I forget we're in the morning here. It's not evening or even just afternoon like we usually do on Sundays. Hit the like button, fellas. Hit the like. Don't be afraid to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We got Gonzalo dropping by. Gonzalo, give us your thoughts, please, if you would, on the fight. Inoue Donaire 2.
Mr. BDA, my fucking communications, my Wi-Fi, like, it went down. I'm just, like, barely getting on. To where I got like 3% on my tablet. What happened? I missed the fight. Last time I talked to Rachel Donaire was this morning because she was on H Money. It turns out that Donaire was going to wear like the Everlast Elites. Well, like in the first time around that Donaire, he made fucking,
yeah, you're cutting off there.
Correction. He made Donaire wear the fucking weenies, but now Donaire wear the... What happened? What happened?
You fell off. But yeah, keep going.
What happened in the fight?
Oh, you don't know what happened? Okay, fucking Inoue.
No, I just got on the tablet, dude. My fucking comms went out.
Well, you can watch it, recharge and rewatch it because it was only 2 rounds. Inoue just decimated the guy.
That's good. That's good news.
That's good news. I mean, that's
in the boxing, in the reality of like boxing. No fucking like we're not gonna throw up the flag for the Philippines or for the United States. Or for fucking Japan, but in the sense of like where boxing is the winner, if that dude needed to do in order for him to retain his spot and the pound for pound, like in the top of the echelon, amongst the fucking music and all the fucking and the big times and the dudes, they're fucking like they're holding the sport down. That's Inoue. Good job for him, man. What did he knock out the dude with the body shot or with the straight right to the upstairs or what?
He dropped him in the first round with a counter right hand. And then in the second, he just it was more like temple shots, where he makes the guy go.
Knocked him out of the ring.
Yeah, when he makes him go Bambi legs. He wobbled him about 2-3 times before he actually put him down again, and he almost laid him out flat. And that's when the ref just waved it off because he saw, okay, this guy's wobbling all over the ring, and the way he fell indicated that he was going to get hurt if he could even make it up. So that was a pound for pound performance right there from Inoue. That's what we call pound for pound. But we also, his performance also seemed to rile up a bunch of people that, because he sort of outshone some of the other guys that have been fighting recently. So there's a lot of people out there, Gonzalo, that didn't like that. And they're getting a little rambunctious, a little envious of that, which is a shame because, I mean, you're supposed to share the love, but that's not the way they look at it. Hit the like, fellas. Hit the like.
Yeah, because Inoue, he's got that crazy straight fucking right hand to where it's decimating motherfuckers. I got to go back and watch to see what happened. If he put Donaire on Bambi legs, Donaire had never been outdone like that at fucking at bantamweight because the dude was basically undefeated until he fucking lost to Inoue the first time around. So that's incredible performance, yes sir.
Well, we got to keep it in perspective. Yeah, Donaire lost against Rigondeaux at 122, I believe, and it wasn't until he went up all the way to 126 and got stopped by Nicholas Walters. This is a bantamweight that took him out. I mean, this type of power that you see from Inoue, combined with his explosiveness, his speed, and his skills, I mean, it's going to be very hard to beat this fella. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to, hold on a second, 484. You're on the air. 484. What's on your mind?
Hello?
484. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, hey, just congratulations to Inoue. That was just a tremendous, really incredible performance from him. I'm a fan of Donaire, and I think he should definitely retire at this point. I mean, he could probably still hang with like the other guys in that division. Like maybe. Hello?
You're still in the air, man. He dropped out. I was going to ask you fellas something. While Donaire was getting wobbled around the ring, Rachel Donaire, I could see her on the ring. I think she had her arms in the ring, which I think is a no-no. She was right there next to the ring, and she was screaming. I know guys tend to tune out the crowd when they fight, but they say that they will usually hear their trainer's voice, and I can't help but assume that he's also hearing his wife shrieking. Doesn't that shrieking do more harm than good, you guys think? Especially when this guy's, his adrenaline's pumping, he's wobbling all over the ring. That's the way I looked at it. Because, I mean, Gonzalo, yeah, go.
No, it's great. I talked to her this morning, and my wife said hello to her because she went on H Money's. I thought, she had it down to like where women have a good intuition, and she was very confident in what she was gonna tell Nodindo to do, and like she's like really gonna be the one writing for like her husband is like almost like boxing trainer of the year. She tried to do good by her husband, but in the end of the day, I don't know, man. In the end of the day, was she doing something where she was like inside of the ring, and was she like yelling, and where it could have got to like Noito Night? No, man. I mean, the dude lost. I mean, yeah, man. She tried to do good by her husband, but in the end of the day, does it really make a difference? I don't think so.
Yeah, man. You rewatch the fight, and you tell me what you think, man. And yeah.
Well, I want to answer that. I was on mute and I was answering you like a knucklehead. But yes, no. When you're that hurt, like he was, like at the time when she was freaking out, he wasn't hearing anybody. You don't hear nothing. All he was hearing was that ringing in his ears. You know what I mean? You're going out. You might be still on your feet, but you might hear her when he's in a mix-up and he's dancing around. But when he was on his Bambi legs, he wasn't listening to nothing. But no, she did, I believe, put her hands in the ring. But that's the thing. I mean, it's weigh it. She's obviously going to be so much more emotionally, tied into what you're doing than just any other trainer. I mean, but then again, it wasn't like she threw the towel, right? I mean, she didn't bring the towel over the top. So you got to give her props for that. I mean, fuck, the first jab I took, my old lady be tossing the fucking towel and
yeah, that's why I would never be able to watch my kids fighting. It's or even friends. I mean, I've had a hard time watching friends box. You just it's because you can't do it for them. And I'm not saying, listen, some of the people that I've known that box are way better boxers than I am, but it's just, maybe it's a control thing. Maybe I'm just a control freak.
It's also, if you care about somebody, it's, getting punched in the face is no joke. And it's when you have an emotional connection to someone, it brings it to a whole nother level.
That's right. That's absolutely, yeah, you're right about that too. That's another way of looking at it. Let's go back to 484 who dropped out. Hold on a second. 484, you're back on the air, man. What's up?
Hey, my bad, guys. I got disconnected there. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
You just were just talking about Donaire retiring. I definitely think he should. I mean, he's a 39-year-old bantamweight at this point. Those guys at like the smaller weight classes, they obviously age. Like a 32-year-old, 33-year-old guy at like lightweight or something like that is old. Like a Lomachenko is old for a lightweight, and like 39 at bantamweight is fucking ancient. I mean, that's old for guys at the big weight classes, let alone like a bantamweight. He should definitely retire, I think. But that was still, I mean, like you said earlier, knew he did exactly what he had to do. He got him out of there in 2 rounds. The first round was back and forth a little bit. I thought Donaire, early on in the first round, he was having a little bit of success, and then he just got clipped at the very end of that first round with a counter right hand. It was devastating, too. He's really lucky. There was only like 3 seconds left in that round. And then, and then you saw what happened in the second round. It was just absolutely devastating. I mean, really, like really bad. But, still, I mean, he knew he did exactly what he had to do. That's why he's one of the best in the world. And what's next for him is I still think he should take that undisputed fight for the legacy. Now, his opponent, the guy in the WBO, Paul Butler, he's like you said earlier, Inoue would just, I mean, that fight, it would be it'd be generous to say it would go 6 rounds. Like, that's the kind of guy that would just get completely washed out of there by Inoue. But he'll still get that undisputed status, and then from there he would have to go up to 122. But at 122, there's really not a lot there for him. I mean, he's not going to fight any of the PBC champions at 122. Or there's only one. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of featherweight. Yeah, no, there's one. He's not going to ever get a fight with Fulton at 122. It's not going to happen. I didn't see Fulton's fight yet. I'm going to watch that today because he fought on Saturday. I heard he did really well. But what Fulton's going to do is he's just going to go up to 126, and they have two belts in the PBC at 126 that he could get. The WBC belt and the WBA belt. So I mean that's what would happen there. But I just wanted to touch on. There was a guy in here earlier talking about Tank Davis. I think Tank Davis is a clown, to be honest with you. I mean, and the thing is, I do like his skill set and everything like that. His fights are exciting, but look at what they're putting him in with. It's like his last 3 fights. Like ever since they started putting him on pay-per-view, like it's just been like these really like gimmick kind of like fights. Like there was Leo Santa Cruz, then there was fucking Mario Barrios. And then Isaac Cruz, and now this fucking Rolly Romero. It's just a joke. Like, I'm at the point now with Tank Davis where, like, I've bought every one of his pay-per-views that he's had, all 4 of them. And, like, now I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm going to just stop buying, like, Tank Davis's pay-per-views. Like, it's almost like I'm going to treat them like they're like a Jake Paul fight. Like, when Jake Paul fights, I do not buy it at all. Like, I don't watch it. I don't pay attention to it. Like, I'm going to start treating, like, the Tank Davis fights like that, dude, because this is just fucking pathetic at this point with
good
Tank
for
Davis.
you, man.
I really like Rolly Romero. Yeah, like Rolly Romero. That was always a fucking joke. And in fact, there was people, like, everywhere online that were just trying to cope and, like make arguments for how, like, this could be an interesting fight. Like, and that was just, it was bad. Like, the way that he got knocked out, and in like and the amount of time that he got knocked out, like it was just like inevitable. Like that's exactly what I always thought was going to happen. He's gonna get caught coming in rushing with a counter, and he's gonna get knocked out. Like, well, listen, it's not gonna go like.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Tank Davis it's been too long. He needs to, and look, it's a shame that he hasn't fought that many good opposition so far. But if there's a silver lining to some of what we've been seeing in the last couple of months, is that it brings up other fighters. That's why a lot of these guys now are going for undisputed, because after Crawford and Canelo got that done, a lot of people now are saying, you know what, screw my undefeated record, screw the fear of losing. I want to go for undisputed. I want to go get that glory for whatever it may be worth nowadays. That's what they're going for. And so maybe Tank Davis now is realizing, shit, time's running out. I got to make something happen. So listen, 484, we got to move on.
Mr. BDA.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, I can already tell you right now who his next 3 opponents are going to be. Tank Davis, because I don't think he's going to leave Mayweather. He's definitely not. Even if he left Mayweather, he would still be on the PBC side, and his opponents are going to be the same. He's going to have a rematch with Isaac Cruz, even though I know he said he didn't want the rematch with Isaac Cruz, but it's going to happen. It's there for them to make. It's just there's a little bit of buzz around it just how the first fight turned out, and then after that he'll fight the dude Michael Rivera or Michelle Rivera, whatever, the guy that dresses up like fucking Muhammad Ali, the lightweight on the PBC. He'll fight that guy, and then he'll fight the kid Jose Valenzuela, who's trained by Benavidez' father.
All right,
those will be Tank Davis's next 3 opponents. I can guarantee it right now.
That's a horrible dystopian future you just predicted. All right, well, listen, 484, good call, and call back next time, right, man?
Yeah, excellent call.
All right, take care. Have a good day.
Take it easy. Have yourself a good day, man. All right. I want to give a shout out to Ski Dragunov, who said, check out this comment. He says, look at Inoue's wife, nowhere to be seen in the ring. That way, it's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, listen, I don't mind having your wife in the corner if she wants to train you, be your manager. From what I hear, Rachel Donaire is nothing but a good lady. But yeah, I was just asking, is the screeching in the corner or on the side of the ring, is that more distracting than helpful? That's what I was asking. But apparently Ski Dragunov, he's an old school guy. We got Chief dropping. Chief, please tell me you didn't take what I said seriously about ditching work so that you could show up here.
I didn't even hear it. I just jumped on at the end of that last call, and I don't have a lot of time because I got to get back to other things that anyway. Great fight. We love Donaire, but I think his time's done. He did look somewhat, not I won't say shot, but definitely like he's not going to be at a world-class level after this. But Inoue did what he's supposed to do to a fighter like that, just like Benavidez did to Lemieux. you ship them straight out. They don't belong in the ring with you. I'm going to show you don't belong in the ring with me, and this is where you deserve to go. Bam. That's not to take away from Donaire being a great fighter, first ballot Hall of Famer, but anyway, it's Inoue's time. It's not Donaire's. He's right. The previous caller, he's not going to get a shot at Fulton at 122. And to wrap up what the other caller said, because I don't have a lot of time for much else, is the thing about Tank. You got Rolly Romano, you got Barrios, you've got Cruz, and you've got Santa Cruz. The only one that's not a B fighter in that group is Santa Cruz, and he was 2 weight classes outside of his best weight. What do they have in common? They were all challenging Tank to an extent, to a degree. What got him out of those situations was his power. So if he fights some of these better lightweights that he's going to have to be even skilled with, that probably have better chins and aren't going to fold like Santa Cruz did, and the power's not going to be enough, what's his plan B? When he steps in with A-level fighters, what's going to happen? He does have A-level power, but so did Mike Tyson. It didn't stop Evander Holyfield. So
well, sorry. Yeah.
No, that's about all. I'll listen for a few more minutes, but that's all I wanted to say to start with.
Well, that's an excellent point about how's he gonna what's plan B if the other guys can take his power. Number one, I think his power is such that it might not be as destructive as it was in the lower weights. I still think it's going to be significant. These guys are going to feel that power when they get hit, and they're probably going to get wobbled or flash knockdown. Maybe he doesn't take him out in another 2-3 rounds the way he does with everybody else, but they're going to have to watch out for it. Yeah.
Well, didn't we kind of see BDA, to you guys' point, what happens when it's not like no hope, we can just bang out when someone makes him have to think? Did at any time in that fight, even though I did have him edge in the fight against Isaac Cruz, but did at any time he look comfortable or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But who else in the lightweight division at the top rank can do that to him? Because Haney can't do that to him. And Isaac Cruz, let me point out, Isaac Cruz is a top-notch contender. But do I think that he beats anyone unless they all vacate and then there's vacant belts and he picks one up like Jesus Chavez did when the lightweights moved on and he moved up from 130? I don't think so. I don't think he beats Loma. I don't think he might beat Ryan. We don't know. Ryan is still the consummate prospect / almost contender. But that's because of what he's choosing to do with his career. Having said that, the rest of the guys that are already established as mainstream, top-notch lightweights, I don't see Cruz being any of them. I don't see him beating Haney. I don't see him beating Loma. I don't see him beating any of these guys. If Tio came back down, I don't think he'd beat Tio. But I don't see him beating. He gives them all tough fights, and they'll know they're in a fight when they're done, but I don't see him winning these fights.
Interesting. I mean, that's hopefully we get those fights, first of all. But obviously we're talking hypothetically here. But yeah, man, I mean, it's power makes a difference, man. And if you don't have it, unless your skills are super world class where you can just dominate just based on skill and speed, if you don't have that power, it could end up being a problem. Could end up being a big problem. Now, when it comes to Inoue, like you said, Jimmy, yeah, we saw Inoue show in and out movement and skills against Donaire in the first fight. Just in this one, he caught him early and just took him out, finished him the way he was supposed to. And, and a
guy who broke your oracle bone, too. Like, that psychological aspect. A guy who hurt you that bad, who has that kind of punching power, because he might have been 40, and it is crazy to be at that 40 in that weight class, but he can crack. And Inoue jumped in there, paid that no mind at all. He was because he knew he was going to hit quicker and just more accurate. That's right. Has confidence in his ability.
But you know what's crazy about Inoue? This is the first time he wears Cleto Reyes, fucking the Mexican puncher gloves.
Oh, interesting.
I noticed that he had the horsehair on.
Yeah. He was wearing the Mexican gloves, and he got the knockout in the second round, as you guys are telling me. Now, as far as Pitbull. One thing that we found out that a lot of people, we always have these open questions. The dude can take a punch. Tank Davis could have knocked him out. When you have a tough chin and you learn how to operate inside the pocket and you discover some things that a fighter is not always willing to fucking get in there and feel comfortable fighting like that, the dude's only getting better and he deserves just as much of the benefit of the doubt as any old 22, 23-year-old because he's also a young man and he can also improve.
Why wouldn't he get the benefit of the doubt as all these young up-and-comers can also? Right?
Who are you referring to? Who are you referring to?
Isaac Cruz.
April Cruz.
He can improve, but I mean, I might be wrong on him. But when you and I talked before, it was the first Charlo Castano situation, and I thought Castano proved. Hear me out. I know you're talking about Cruz. I'm referring to limits of what fighters can accomplish. I thought for a second that I was wrong on Castano when the first Charlo fight. The second Charlo fight happened. Now I think I'm right. I think he overachieved in a fight, and we'll see what happens with Cruz and whether he just overachieved against Tank Davis. I think he can improve. He is young. You're right, but I don't think he improves enough to beat anyone. And the only reason why I'm saying except Ryan Garcia is because Ryan hasn't proved himself as a legitimate threat at lightweight yet. He has talent and potential, but he hasn't put it all together yet to show us what he's fully capable of. So Loma and Haney and all those guys, I don't think he beats any of them.
Castano. Yeah.
Well, I was drawing a parallel.
Yeah. But what I'm like Julio Cesar Chavez, even though I'm going to draw another parallel, even though you might not hit that hard, you could discover some things inside the pocket that a lot of people would not want to deal with that. They're not going to want to squabble with you because you're that much relaxed. You could take a punch, and all of a sudden I'm seeing things in slow motion. When you want to trade shots with me, a lot of people want to skedaddle out of the pocket. No, Cruz is pretty relaxed in there because he can take a punch. So I'm saying he can only improve being 20.
I mean, you make a good
argument. Fellas.
He can only get better. So he deserves as much of an opportunity and just as much. Oh, wait, hold on. As Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, David Haney, and all them. Why wouldn't he? He deserves an equal fucking shot. Not just because he's a fucking mestizo, Indian-looking motherfucker.
Nobody said that. But fellas, I got to interject here because we got Blue Collar Sports TV, aka Del Boy, calling in here on the stream. Del Boy, you there? Can you hear me, Del Boy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Thank you for dropping by, man.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I just had to mute that echo. Yeah, I mean, this fight was basically the boxing equivalent of Old Yeller. I mean, Inoue took him out back and put him down, but he did better than I expected. I felt he'd win by stoppage, but I felt it'd be late on. I actually felt Donaire looked quite sharp in the early in the first round. Tried to push Inoue back behind his jab. But once he got caught with that right hand, he got a bit overzealous. He opened up with his own right hand, got caught. He never truly recovered. And yeah, round two, man, he got blitzed really. I will say though, maybe I'm in the minority here. I think the referee should have given Donaire a count after the second knockdown just to see how he was. Maybe that's me being a fucking savage, but I mean, ultimately, I can't. It's a great performance by Inoue. As for what's next, I mean, if he can get undisputed, make it happen, but don't fuck around and wait because bantamweight right now, it's not really worth waiting for, to be honest. I mean, Paul Butler gets him undisputed, but does it really improve a resume? Does it really? I mean, I get the need for doing it. It's a good accomplishment, but honestly, I'd rather see Inoue go to 122 sooner rather than later. I think the Ahmed Aliev fight can be made. I mean, Bob and DAZN have done business previously. Stylistically, that's a great fight as well. Both guys can crack. MJ really does open up, so he's going to leave openings. So, I mean, Inoue, what can I say? I mean, that's a pound-for-pound performance. You know, I think he overexceeded most people's expectations, including my own. I felt he'd win, but not quite like that. So, yeah, I mean, he reminds me of Golovkin, like 2012 to 2014, just must-watch kind of thing. He's got that aura. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Great performance. And yeah, we'll see where he goes next.
You know what, Del Boy, you mentioned Paul Butler, and I was saying, man, I'm not excited for that fight, but somebody just posted on the Discord a tweet from Joe Gallagher saying, let's make undisputed, or something akin to that. Joe Gallagher, Stu always complains about Gallagher's game plans, that he always lose the first 10, win the next 2. Is he even going to make it to the 10th round against Inoue, if they ever fight?
No. I mean, Paul Butler's own mother, she wouldn't pick him to win that fight. It's a gross mismatch. I mean, it should really it should show us something about these undisputed runs. Not all undisputed runs are the same. Beating Paul Butler gets you undisputed, but it doesn't really add to the resume. Like Casemiro doesn't have a belt at bantamweight, but he'd be a better win. So, I mean, it is what it is.
There you go, man. Hey, listen, you broke it down perfectly, the Del Boy. Anything else you want to say?
No, not really, man. I mean, yeah, great performance. But yeah, I think 122 is where it's at for Inoue. But anyway, thanks for having me. I've got to jump.
Hey, but Del Boy,
Peace.
yeah, you should next time try to jump on the Discord because for some reason there's a delay here. I think you can only hear me.
Yeah, good call, brother.
Yeah, but try to jump on the Discord one of these days. All right,
Yeah, he always brings it.
There's a long delay here. That's why.
I like his points, but I still think Undisputed. It's going to prove a point long down the road. I understand what you say about quality competition, and I'm not questioning that at all. I think he's 100% right on that. But when we're all old and passing on to the next generation, they're going to see Inoue was the best bantamweight at this era. Especially if he unifies, he left nothing behind. He dominated that division during his time. And Undisputed would make that to where there's no, well, yeah, but he didn't fight this guy. Or this might have happened. There will be none of that.
Yeah,
I agree 122 is where he needs to go. And 122 is only going to enhance his legacy, especially if he can get a Fulton fight and possibly pull that off. That's a big, big task, but he can do it. But nailing the coffin and putting the nail in the coffin and saying, I was the best at this era at this time, because nobody can argue that. Undisputed. I would do that on the way up. If he can get it done by the end of the year. If he can't, like you said, don't wait. If by December he can't get Undisputed, move on.
No, that's an excellent point, because you got to think, right? There's, like you said, great competition, but those achievements that just automatically punch tickets to Hall of Fames. You know what I mean? Like first ballot, like destroying a whole division. So yeah, it's a balance, right?
And that's where Tank's at right now. Well, Mayweather said, "Well, you can't eat legacy." Well, that's easy to say from someone that made 9 figures in one night. Not only one other guy's done that. And that's Manny Pacquiao. Nobody else has really done that. So when it comes time to eating or legacy, Tank's probably at the case where if I have one, I'll have both. So I've made some good money, but the long-lasting money is going to start piling up if I enhance my legacy. How can I do that? Let me try and get Undisputed at lightweight. Let me get a shot at Haney. Let me get a shot at Ryan Garcia, who will bring some tickets. Let me get a shot at Lomachenko if that's coming around. And I'm not saying he's clamoring for this, but I think in the back of his mind, it's starting to sneak up towards the frontal cortex of the brain, saying, I might need to do this behind closed doors and say, these are the fights I want. On that note, I've got to get back to work. Thanks for having me on, guys, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Thank you for dropping by, Chief. Really appreciate it.
Later,
and
Chief.
yeah, like, I don't know if Del Boy's still hearing me, but there's a big delay on StreamYard. It's like a 4-second delay. So if you still want to stay on the panel, let me know on the Discord so I can send you the invite there. All right, man? Because the StreamYard, it's a 4-second delay. In terms of the... I agree with I understand what Chief is saying. A lot of people now are putting a lot of emphasis on having all 4 belts. I'm still old school. To me, the WBO doesn't mean worth much. And I also believe, and I've said it before, I don't even try to get into which belt is better. I think all of them, I have to go with that route. I have to dismiss all of them, and I have to look at the quality of the competition and the standings. And Paul Butler's a good fighter, but he's one of those guys that doesn't have world-class hand speed, world-class power, not exactly the best skills ever as either. He's just a guy that's going to be there. Inoue's not going to respect him. He's not going to respect the speed, the power. He's going to get to him, and he's going to take him out. Also, Ring TV has, what's his name? Paul Butler at number 10. So it's like Del Boy said, yeah, okay, Butler has the title, but he's way down in number 10, whereas Casimiro has done more at the weight. He's ranked number 2. And I think you have to assume he's going to jump to number 1 with Inoue being the champion. Yeah.
No, and to your point about the belts, their overt corruption doesn't help it either. Just they're so corrupt in their decision making. Think about it. Not to keep popping Romero there, but nobody had him in their top 15, and out of nowhere he was WBA's number 1 contender off a robbery.
I mean,
just think about it. You say that, right? It's so obviously corrupt. Like the BDA, I mean, the WBA has always been with the PBC, but to be that obvious about it, but that was for one reason only. We beat a number one ranked guy because right away Ellaby started tweeting it out when it was just horse shit because he doesn't even belong anywhere near it. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand, and I understand what the Chief was going for in terms of being able to say undisputed, because people now equate undisputed with belts. But to me, undisputed simply means you beat everybody. There's no dispute. It doesn't really have anything to do with whether you have all four of those straps or not. And that's what they are. They're straps. They're bubbles of mankind's vanity, as Dracula used to say.
And not to shit on Haney's thing, but look at just the last four. His run going up to becoming unified. It was the Cuban kid Gamboa. I mean, he's way past it, a shell of himself, a shell of Linares even, let's be honest. And then he did little Jojo Diaz. These are decent wins, and props to him, and he won. I give him his credit for that. But then he beats Cambosos, so it's Cambosos. Those four that was his run into becoming unified.
Jimmy,
come on.
Jimmy, what you're saying, yeah, I get, but what you're saying sounds kind of racist, man. I don't know. That's just, I'm not saying you are, I'm just saying it sounds racist. So I can just keep saying that ad nauseum without backing it up with proof. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas, hit the like. Somebody was on the line here and they dropped off. So I think when it comes to Inoue, we've said most of what we're going to say. I'm going to wait to see if the person calls back. Jimmy, I don't know if you can see the screen that I'm sharing here. I'm not going to go into the whole communique mode. But we did have some people writing in. Hold on a second. Where is it? Yeah, I mean, people calling in. I had people writing in. Because again, people, again, that's the other thing. Boom Boom said, no, Inoue is not a star. He might not be a household name in North America, but in Japan, he does, the numbers are through the roof. So he's an attraction there. He's under no obligation to fight in the United States in terms, if you just want to keep it to financial terms. But of course, he has fought in the United States. He'll fight anywhere.
That's part of the knock people have against him. He's not a star. Nobody knows him, and that's the bias of this country. The numbers he does in Japan embarrass anybody's numbers that they do here in comparison. Like he is the biggest star in a country with how many tens of millions of people that country have. Like he is a superstar, front page of the biggest paper all the time. So yeah, he has no desire. He doesn't care what Americans think.
Jimmy, I got to ask you, why do you think that triggered a lot of those people from that demographic about it? Is it because the fact that they don't know who Inoue is, does that make it worse for them, for their ego?
I would think, but then again, like you said, I just can't understand how somebody would call into a boxing show and argue the points, or argue whether somebody's not better than when you've never seen him fight. You don't know who he's fought. But then again, he said but you know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't understand it. There is, I mean, well, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but it's just right now there has been an increase. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Is it something in the air? There seems to be a lot of tension between Asians and blacks right now. I mean, you see it on the news all the time. I'm not going to lie. Another Asian attack. I mean, that dude. I mean, they're beating Asian women. I'm not trying to laugh. It's not funny, but punching them 100 times. I just kind of coughed, and I said I didn't want to sound like I was laughing. I kind of coughed. I was talking, but yeah, no, there's been a rash of it in the last 2 years. Actually, an explosion is how they described it on the news, and 99% of the time it's been black people. So is there something there? I don't know, because it's strange, because this kid has everything you'd want. If you're a true boxing fan, what about this kid can't you like? He takes on the best. He stands in the pocket. No matter if you can break his eye socket or not, he's right back in the pocket. I mean, and then we had to make comparison because Haney was the last guy who fought. And look at the way his fight was. I shut that shit off in the 9th round. It was so boring. It was what it was, because I knew he was going to win. It was a pitch and a shutout, and he was just going to do this. He wasn't going to put himself in harm's way or try to take him out. And, that can only go so. But when you get a guy like Inoue who's got thunder in both hands and he's willing to do, and he wants to knock people out. I mean, he wants to. So if you don't like him, you have an agenda. If you call yourself a boxing fan.
Jimmy, that was very well said, man. Eloquently said. And I mean, I'd love to hear somebody try to refute that, but I don't think we will. And if we do, it's going to be, what you're saying sounds racist. Like, all right. I mean, that's why I just threw it back in his face. Well, you sound racist to me too. And it sounds to me like you've got something against Asians. How about that? Don't forget to call in. Hey, by the way, Logical Man, I saw you in the chat. Shout out to Logical Man. Boom Boom Guy called in. He said he left a message in one of your videos. He does not want to debate you because he says you are not a man. And therefore, you do not deserve to be debated with. So just letting you know that that's what happened. He says he left a message on your channel. So what I'm doing right now does not equate to snitching. I'm not a certain person that was involved in a big fight this past Saturday. All right, listen, Jimmy, I received a communique from people in Japan that we got real boxing fans here, and some of these guys, hardcore boxing fans, made the trek to the land of the rising sun, and they sent us a couple of emails here. I think a lot of people are having fun over there. This one comes to us from Jordan. And he says, just spent the day here in Japan and made plenty of friends who said the Japanese were weirdos. I agree. I mean, I've made fun of the Japanese and how their culture is bizarre. But I've never, actually meant that they're weirdos. They're different. You know what? They're special. Let's just put it that way. They are special.
And let's be honest, and they are racist is probably the biggest. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying, but now I'm not talking about racist against blacks, which they are. They're also racist against whites. They are racist against any other culture than theirs. That's why you can't even if you had all the money in the world, you can't go there and buy land and become a citizen. They don't allow it.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I mean, they're so ethno-nationalistic. It's like, but because they're a big trader, we don't say nothing about it. But it is true. I mean, but that's part of their culture. But it doesn't mean if you go over there, they won't treat you with respect. Mike Tyson, like he said, he goes, I was treated like a god when I went there. You know what I mean? Like they were following him around and hundreds of people surrounding him. So, but they are very on their culture. I mean, they even they treated Koreans as subpar. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I'm just trying to make a talking point for why it might be.
I don't know, man. It's weird. This other email comes to us from Walden, who also went to Japan, and apparently he didn't have that good a time. He says, just got kicked out of Japan for lewd conduct. So I smoked some meth and went a little crazy. So what? He says, drugs give the hankering for some ramen noodles. What's the big deal? Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if it's those don't look like ramen noodles. Those look a little thicker. That looks like al dente. But anyway, who am I to say what's what? Shout out to Walden. And finally, this communique comes to us from Jermaine Russell, who says, I'm spending the night here in Japan, and I had to arm myself with the traditional katana, for the Japanese are vengeful people, and they want comeuppance for what their brethren are experiencing in the U.S. I'm ready. Well, there you go. Jimmy he had to end on the racial tone there, the last email. Look at him. You think katanas are, how hard are they to come by? Like genuine katanas, Jimmy? Are you aware of that?
A good one? Yeah. Oh, no, they're insane. I know a lot about those, bro. They're actually the most sought after one, I believe, the 15th century. Like they can't even, with all the technology we have today, they can't even duplicate it. Like the grains, because they use a special. The only comes from a stream in the mountains of one part of Japan, and it's this black volcanic sand, and they cook it for like 3 days, and they make takamaka. I'm saying it wrong, but it's a special steel. And the way they do this, it's insane. They're the greatest swords in the history of mankind. Back in the day, like when you break the hilt off, I'll make this real quick. When you bust the hilt off, how you rated a sword was a slash in 1 up to 5. That was the amount of condemned men it cut in half in one swing.
Wow.
And there was some 5 men, literally cut 5 men in one half. They are like surgical sharp. And you can bang them against bricks and they won't fucking dent, but they also bend because they use a soft steel on the edge. And that bow, they're the greatest sword ever.
Interesting.
Ever. It's unbelievable and expensive, hundreds of thousands up to millions of dollars for quality Japanese swords.
Man, that's a nice little factoid right there, Jimmy. We should talk about that more. Real quick, we got Kenshiro dropping by on the StreamYard again. Hopefully he can hear us. Kenshiro, can you hear us? No, but Kishore, you're listening to us on the TV. You got to listen to us on the stream.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah. Are you?
Hello?
Oh man, you know what? It's not gonna work, man. It's.
Can you hear us?
No, he's not, because he's watching on the television, so there's a delay there. Yeah, it's not gonna work out, man. I don't know why we're having trouble with this StreamYard today. It's bizarre. There's a big delay. Yeah, the problem is, Kenshiro, you're hearing us on the TV. That's why there's a delay. It's a big
All right,
5
no
second.
problem. I'll speak to you guys on Friday then. No problem, my friend.
Sorry about
Can
that.
you
man.
hear us? All right. No, it sounded like he came through so clear right there. Maybe he had it, but
No, he's
Definitely.
coming in clear. He just can't hear us. That's the. I mean, he can hear us, but he hears us 5 seconds after we speak. So it's a big old problem.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
listen. This was a fantastic performance from Naoya Inoue. Too bad some people can't give him credit. It's a shame, but again, it is what it is. He's got a long road ahead of him, though. He's got some limited options at 118. Big fights at 122, but then again, can they be made? Can promotional barriers be destroyed and the fight materialize? We will have to see. We'll have to see. In any event,
It'll come down to money, right?
money or ego too. Like, hey, listen, let's put things aside and let's make it happen. That's the way I'm looking at it, Jimmy. But
and I just want to say, I think 122 would be the biggest that could go to by looking at his frame. Although he has big calves, I think that would be his limit. But I just wanted to
that's
add
the
that.
thing. Huh? Yeah, listen, guys reach their limits. I mean, we saw Canelo 168. I was already seeing the limits there. 175, way past the limit. Lomachenko, for example, 135 might even be his limit. And Inoue might be 122.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man.
Agree 100%.
Jimmy, we still got a lot of boxing, though, coming up. We've got Friday, we got Hiroto Kyoguchi taking on Esteban Bermudez. That's from the Zone in Mexico. So we're not going to have to get up at 7 in the morning to watch that one. That same day, the heavyweight sensation, well, potential sensation, Bakhtodir Jalolov is going to be fighting an 8-rounder. That's Friday, so we got 2 Friday fights. Then the next day, Edgar Berlanga taking on Romero Alexis Angulo. As I said, that fight, they should call it live by the gun, die by the gun. Because these guys are going to be, they're going to be basing this one on their power. And one guy's going to get taken out. Guaranteed.
And BDA, can I just say one more thing about Isaac Cruz for Gonzalo? When I say he was a Vegas odds, no hope, but I'm saying when they first signed to fight him, they had no idea. I think it was almost a cherry pick gone wrong. They picked him because they only paid him $300,000. They didn't know who he was. He was an unknown, and they assumed they could walk through him. Since what he's done since fighting Davis, I agree. I agree. And they know they got something because the kid is tough as nails and he comes to fight and is exciting. And so I agree with Gonzalo there.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, Tank Davis, he has power. It's just he couldn't connect with a solid. Isaac Cruz, Gonzalo's been going on and on about this. He's very strong, broad, little short shoulders, strong shoulders. So he's got a thick neck. So he puts that chin down, tight guard. And the shots just aren't connecting as they normally would on other fighters. Because we saw what happened against other opponents. Davis touches them, they go down. Didn't happen with Cruz, and you got to give him credit for that defense. In any event, hey, by the way, I forgot to give shout out to Del Boy when he was here because we were having technical issues. But shout out to Del Boy for calling in. Check out his channel, Blue Collar Sports TV. Blue Collar Sports TV, one of the most knowledgeable guys out there in boxing, and always appreciate him dropping by. What else? I think that's about it, man. Shout out to everybody that was on the panel, everybody that called in. Really appreciate it. Everybody that donated with the super chat. Don't forget to hit the like on the way out, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. We should be getting to 100 likes per show. That's what I'm asking here. I'm not asking much. I just, hey, listen, patience, humility, and hit the like button. That's all we ask. Right, Jimmy?
Absolutely. We might have to just put a moratorium on the shows. We might have to go on strike until we start getting a little like respect.
We got no respect over here. No respect. Shout out to everybody, like I said, everyone who listened. Shout out to Alan R. Alan, I want to do a show, man, Discord. I want to talk to you about, if you want, because again, I know maybe you don't want the publicity, but about the taxes thing that we talked about over at Thunderdome one day. Because I want to revisit that subject. Again, I'm not an American, so it would be very interesting to hear your point of view again, what you said about taxes and how some people, most people actually, the majority don't understand the laws as it relates to taxes. So let me know on the Discord if you're part of the Discord, or shoot me a message here in the chat before we leave, and we'll set it up. All right, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat: Marcus R, Jay Thompson, Alan R, the aforementioned Alan R, the Real YT, Ness Mendoza, Aurora Cassiopeia. Sounds like some sort of a molecule. Shout out to Heretic, George H, Augustine Bala, Kenshiro. Shout out to Kenshiro. Sorry we couldn't get to your call on StreamYard. I don't know what's going on, man. Fucking StreamYard. Intergalactic, Hawker Mustang, Straw Hat Pirates, Shadow Combat, Abe, Heretic, and the Logical Man was in there as well. Shout out to everybody that listened. If I missed anybody, you guys know who you are. Thank you for listening. Catch you on the next one, and we'll see you on the next one. Check out Second Renaissance, probably the next show that's going to be taking place there. Take it easy, fellas. Thanks for watching.